to show you all something very important.
Oh no.
Behold my refrigerator.
Again.
Behold your what now?
No, Alan. Behold my refrigerator. My basement refrigerator. I've kept it a secret from you all. Inside this refrigerator is the most important thing I've gathered for this particular recording. I brought you, the two of you here tonight. 3 if you want to count Gracie. She's important to the ritual. That we get this going. Tonight's the night. The time is right. Oh. So if you open the fridge, you're going to see.
I'm opening the refrigerator.
Okay. And
first, there's a lot in here.
Yeah.
First thing I see is a slip of paper. It says "Peace on Earth."
Mm-hmm. I mean, so there's that. Just ignore the purple stuff. There's some Sunny D over in the corner.
Oh yeah. Cool.
But you might. I mean, but the key part is the $240 worth of pudding.
That is. I don't know why I didn't see that first. That is a lot of pudding.
Well, that's because the refrigerator is made out of the pudding cups. Haha, the prestige! Welcome to Undercooked Analysis. I have successfully tricked Alan into stepping into a box made out of pudding cups.
Bale's corpse is in here.
Yeah, this is how I do the vetting process for my co-hosts.
Wait,
Kaela passed. That's why I married her.
Wait. Wasn't that the Prestige with like Hugh Jackman and not Christian Bale, right? No.
Yes.
No. Okay. There was two.
Hugh Jack. Yeah, because that's the corpses that are in there right now. They couldn't solve the problem.
Yeah, but was that Christian Bale? Hold on.
Yeah, it was Christian Bale because it's a Nolan film.
I watched this movie like last month.
That skeleton over in the corner is Christian Bale.
What's the other dumb movie that came out? Like that also had the whole
Now You See Me?
No, not Now You See Me. There are 2 like magic movies, like old-timey magician movies that came out around the same time. One was The Prestige, the other was God damn it.
First of all,
The Illusionist. That's it. And The Prestige was so much better.
Prestige is amazing. It has you got my boy D Bowie as Nicholas.
Yes, that's right. Oh, David Bowie.
You have Michael Caine as Michael Caine.
Yes,
he never plays anybody else.
No, David Bowie is Tesla. That's all you need to know. Just go into it knowing David Bowie is fucking Tesla.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah, and the
you'll note that David Bowie. You'll note that David Bowie is not in the pudding cup refrigerator.
No, okay, yes. I know you're trying to bring it back. So, Undercooked Analysis, where we're reading our
Hey, you know how we just opened this refrigerator to start the show?
Yeah.
That's one hell of a cold open.
Hey!
Thank you.
So we're reading our judges' favorites from the Creepy Cooking Staff contest.
Guess you could say it's some fridge horror, huh?
That's great. Hey, Alan.
Yo.
If you could stick your head in there for a second and get around the purple stuff to the Sunny D, we're gonna need it to wash down all the pudding we're gonna deal with. I need to. While you're doing that, let me talk. I don't think he's picked up on the fact that it's technically a Creepy Cooking Staff episode, but we should probably bring it up.
Why are you telling me this?
Hey, do you guys also want Sunny D?
Yeah, I'd love some Sunny D. Thanks, Alan.
Awesome.
Anyway, let's just keep going. It should be fine. Because I just don't want him to yell at me anymore.
I mean, he's going to figure it out.
What are you guys talking about?
How much we love Sunny D. We're really excited about the Sunny D.
It is great. It is like worse orange juice.
It's kind of true. But yeah, so we're good. I think they're... thanks. Here. Sunny D.
Oh, God.
So what are we reading today?
So we have as it turns out, we each came to this particular episode with our honorable mentions from the writing challenge. And
right, the writing challenge that was
oh fuck. It's okay.
It was for the writing challenge. I remember the one I did. It was the bad story contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did we do after that one?
Well, it was the one where we had the prompts that we.
You know what always refreshes my memory?
What's that?
A cold sip of Sunny D. So let me just
Unbrace
pour
yourself.
myself this glass.
Brace yourself.
Let me put the glass to my lips.
I see it coming too.
It's been nice knowing you.
Hey! No! Did you just... Did we just do a full cold open? Did we just do a full cold open?
Okay.
For a creepy cooking staff episode? Without you telling me? Is that what you're saying? No. Is that what you're saying to me right now? Hello there, and welcome to what is technically still an episode of Creepy Cooking Staff. I am your host, Alan Cheney, recovering now on the floor from where he got hit in the face with a doorknob on accident. Is my co-host, David King.
Can't feel my legs.
Yeah, well, maybe you should think about your legs next time you try and open my show. And also, Kaela's here. Hi, Kaela.
Hi. I'm giving my husband a leave right now. I'm also a lot of towels.
Kaela?
Good, towels are important.
Yeah.
Kaela?
You can make splints with those.
Will I be able to walk again?
Maybe not.
It's not funny.
No, it's extremely funny because you said it just like David Hasselhoff.
Just put a Pepsi can. Put a Pepsi can right next to my feet. It's gonna be. We're gonna win that fucking Emmy. We're gonna win that fucking Emmy.
By the way, most popular show on television. Baywatch never won an Emmy. Anyway.
Okay, Alan. The reason I bring this up is because we had 3 winners of our challenge. The challenge of your show.
The challenge of my show.
Yeah.
The challenge of the show that you so graciously allow me and Kaela to be co-hosts on.
Congratulations to our winners, by the way. You guys did a great job, and
we love you.
And we love you. Yeah.
Hey, Kaela, I have a crazy idea.
What?
Take those towels before you wrap them around David's legs. Mm-hmm. Soak them in Sunny D and see if we can.
There is a lot of Sunny D in there.
Maybe discover the curative properties of Sunny Delight.
It's no G Fuel, but let's see. Hey, I'm cured! Sunny D cured me! That's me dancing.
Anyway.
It's really cutting the jig.
Oh!
Doing like an old prospector dance.
Yeah, it's like he's like fucking Grandpa Joe after he discovered that Charlie got a golden ticket.
Good morning! Look at the sun!
Fucking Richter.
Anyway, so this episode we're going to be reading our honorary mentions, aka the judges' favorites. We all had I think we all had our own personal favorite that we had in our top 3 that wasn't in the rest of ours top 3, and I think we all agreed they should at least get their own episode.
Yes.
And David just realized they're all pudding episodes.
They're all from the pudding prompt. Hence.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, every single one. Now, we only
this episode is a whole $720 worth of pudding.
It's a lot of pudding.
Mm-hmm.
We only had 9 entries though, so I think it's important to acknowledge that we did, who did enter the challenge. Obviously, we had our winners who got announced before. And before we go too much further with the honorable mentions, I want to give a shout out to Brian Whitley, who wrote a Sweet Eddie story, simply titled Sweet Eddie. To Bringer of Lighters, who wrote SCP 1990, which is our only Acknowledge the Purple Stuff based one. And to Rika for Dare to Believe, which is the only Mad Mary story in the bunch. Y'all did great. I enjoyed them for their own reasons as well.
Yeah. I I think these were just like the ones we chose kind of tickled our fancy in a certain way, or like basically they fit our personalities in one way or another.
And I think that the thing is, when we did our scoring system, these were the 3 stories that each of us kind of had a proclivity toward that didn't, quite make it in there. So that's kind of how that worked. But we're genuinely happy that everybody here made their submissions apparent. But I've now made the names of all the authors visible to everybody. So no hiding them this time. We know what they are. So who wants to share their favorite story first? Or they're not their favorite, but you know what I mean.
I'll go first.
Their honorable mention.
So my, as a judge, my personal favorite was Aunt Bethel's old-fashioned monk recipe, which is written by fucking Eli. Again. So, I mean, we didn't have a rule for submitting twice, which Eli did. And
Eli submitted this with the caveat, though, that it's not technically it still
fits.
It still fits.
He wrote it in a ritual pasta sort of way. I had a funny feeling it was his because monk is a joke between us. But at the same time,
go back. I want to be monk.
Yes. But it's so fucking funny. All the others were written like in the typical horror style for the most part, with the exception of the Buck Bumble one, which had a more sympathetic one. This is pure fucking humor. And I'm like, yeah, this is my fucking jam. So
in the future, we'll make a clear stipulation that everybody gets 1 entry.
Yeah.
1.
Because there was a point we debated, like, because David said, we have entry by 2. There was someone submitted 2 entries. I'm like, are we allowed to do that? And we talked, and it's like, I mean, we never said
you couldn't.
So,
but I think it was implied. So we'll make it clear next time. But since we didn't, it's fine. Yeah. It's totally fine. No fault in Eli's part.
Yeah. So I'm going.
I swear to fucking Christ if you do it again.
How do we want to read this off? Like, does someone want to read the ingredients and then we do step by step?
We could
between each other.
That. We could. That might be good. Let's do that.
Aunt Bethel's old-fashioned monk recipe. For ingredients: for monk, 5 grams each. The hair of someone you tied to the hair of someone, or the hair of someone you like tied to the hair of someone you dislike. 3 feet of black string. A large onion, about the size of a fist or larger. 500 milliliters of balsamic vinaigrette. 1 cup of dry roast peanuts. 2 pounds of seashells, preferably from a beach you've not visited. 1 tablespoon of instant coffee, flavor of your choice. A 2 terabyte external hard drive. A 2 gigabyte flash drive. A digitized dictionary, a PDF doc or RTF.
The dictionator.
The dictionator. Digitized photos of your monk's target look, .png or JPEG recommended. A set of clothes matching the dimensions of your hair donors. A key that's not yours. For nourishment, $240 worth of pudding, preferably cups, Halloween candy. But if I scroll down, there was like extra stuff that like caveats for each one. So like for the hair, I found that the more hair you gather from each person, the longer the monk will last. The 5 grams recommended is a minimum for a basic monk with a 1-year lifespan. For a 2-year monk, 10 grams of each is recommended. For a 5-year monk, 25 grams is recommended, etc. Additionally, it's important to have equal parts of each person's hair, as unbalancing them will cause your monk's personality to shift, sometimes violently. And then for the hard drive, I strongly recommend you source the hard drive from Best Buy. Not only do they have fantastic sales, meaning that your monk won't hurt your wallet quite as much. Best Buy hard drives are reportedly more secure with retaining memory and language. For some reason, the brand doesn't seem to factor into this. Go figure. Some other cooks have told me that solid-state drives do, in fact, provide increased speed for cognitive and reasoning abilities, but I've yet to test this out for myself. If you're looking to create a monk that will last more than the basic 1 year, you'll also want to increase their storage capacity, or else you'll have to perform the dreaded routine memory maintenance, which is not recommended for beginners. And then for the photos, these photos can be of a real or fictional person. It's advised you not use photos of people with whom the monk may interact, as this could create confusion. Animated.gif files can also work for more advanced cooks, as they provide nuance for the monk's facial expressions. I know I'm reading a lot.
There's a lot here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So I'll let you guys switch between the steps since I'm reading this whole thing.
Okay, so it's just going to be back and forth between me and Alan?
Yeah.
While you sit on the sidelines and laugh?
Ha ha ha. A variety of gifts is recommended in this case. However, as monks seem to prioritize these movements over static images, and if given only one dot GIF may get stuck in the feedback loops where they make the same exaggerated expression constantly. Some craftier cooks have taken to hacking this part of the recipe and begun creating monks of other species as well. As for my family recipe, we'll stick with those humanoids, thank you. Those critters just give me the creeps. As for the key part, this key can belong to literally anything and anyone. All that matters is you acquire the key without purchasing it. This means you'll likely have to get your hands a little dirty and steal a key from a store or someone you know. The monk will know if this key is yours and won't accept it as a gift. It's important they have their own key, as it symbolizes them having knowledge, memories, or possessions that you don't know about. In other words, it gives them the illusion they can keep secrets, which remains vital as a lie that helps them function.
That's wonderful.
Oh, this is so fucking batshit insane. I love it.
So, I mean, the way Eli presents it, this is basically almost all the prompts. I'm pretty sure it's almost all the prompts we were working with back when we were coming up with this one, right, Alan?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember a bunch of these. A key that isn't yours, the hard drive, it's been a while since I've gone back and listened to that episode, but all right. Shall we go through the instructions proper? Step 1. Tie your
Cut a hole in a box.
Step 2.
Put your junk in that box.
Step 3.
You can open the box.
And that's the way you do it.
It's my dick in a box.
Step 1. Tie your 2 locks of hair together. You can do this with any knot or with a simple device like a rubber band. Make sure both sides of the hair are equal in length, making your finished product symmetrical.
Step 2. Peel your large onion. Using your black string, tie the hair to the onion. Be sure to use all 3 feet of string. This should cover the onion's circumference several times. Tie the string off and let the onion rest.
Step 3. In a large bucket or bowl, empty the comment section, all the toxic stuff you find there. In a large bucket or bowl, empty the contents of your balsamic vinaigrette and dry roasted peanuts. Swirl them around to ensure an even distribution. Place the onion in the mixture, using the peanuts to steady it. That is gross.
This sounds disgusting. It's going to smell like shit.
It's going to smell like peanuts and balsamic vinaigrette.
Well, then again, like there's salads with balsamic, peanuts.
I feel like the vinaigrette would just overpower the peanuts.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
It just smelled like vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
Step 4. Stick the handle of the plastic spoon in the top of the onion. Carefully bend the scoop of the spoon so that it lays parallel to the ground. This can take several attempts, meaning you might want to invest in a multi-pack of spoons. Once the spoon scoop is flat, fill it with your instant coffee.
Mm-hmm. Step 5. Place your seashells on the ground in a rectangular shape around the container. Be sure to use all the shells. It's okay if your rectangle is large. You should aim for 1 foot by 1 foot, but it's okay to go larger.
Step 6. On a computer, place the digitized dictionary and photos in the root directory of your flash. Also, copy the folder included on our website containing the necessary programs for your monk's creation.
Step 7. Insert the flash drive into the onion. This is best done next to the spoon. Be careful not to spill the coffee and don't submerge the flash drive.
Step 8. Insert the USB cord of the 2 terabyte hard drive across from the flash drive on the other side of the onion. If it requires external power, be sure to plug it in.
Step 9. Place the key and set of clothes in the seashell rectangle. Once the step is completed, the programs on the flash drive will begin to work their magic. The birthing process can take several hours or several days, depending on factors like the caffeine content of the coffee used and the speed of the hard drive serving as the monk's primary data center. We don't have a way of checking the progress remotely just yet, so we recommend performing this install in a secluded room and checking on your monk every hour or so.
Step 10. Once the monk is fully formed, You'll notice that the onion has disappeared as it has grown into a full-sized person. If the monk is still naked, they're not ready. Let them be, as they can't leave the seashell rectangle and they won't hurt anything. Once they have put on the provided clothing, consumed the vinaigrette and peanut mixture, and have begun responding in the languages you have provided in the dictionary file, congratulations! They are complete. When you're ready, you can break the seashell barrier and let them roam. If you're using a wired hard drive, however, their mobility will of course be severely limited.
Step 11. Nourishment. Monks require 1 pudding cup per day. As they live about a year with the given recipe before decomposing, I've calculated that their food will cost around $240. Halloween candy is also a great treat. As every monk... Oh, wait, there was a period there. I've calculated that their food will cost about $240. Halloween candy is also a great treat, as every monk I've ever created or met has loved the stuff, especially candy corn.
Ew. Both you and Alan are still disgusting people for liking candy corn. I know, and here's the funny part.
I don't call you disgusting for not liking candy corn.
I want to... You know what? People out there, what's your opinion on candy corn? I want to hear the consensus. How many people out there actually like candy corn?
Or, alternatively, I don't give a shit what you think about candy corn, everyone listening. I don't give a shit. I don't come to your house and judge your opinion on candy. I'll fucking do it, though. This quarantine ends, I'm coming to your houses.
And you're going to judge their candy.
I'm coming to your houses. I'm going to be like, Twizzlers? Pfft, go to hell.
Unless it's what's this, plenty? Good
and plenty?
Good and plenty.
No one likes good and plenty.
Yeah, those taste like shit.
Step 12?
Step 12, Alan?
Step 12! Now you can help your monk go out into the world as a fully formed humanoid. Spend time with them doing whatever you or they like. Be sure to give them lots of knowledge and experiences, as a decomposed monk's hard drive can be recovered, and their data can be reused in part or in whole with future monks. Have fun with your new friend, and when you're ready for it, check out the other, more advanced recipes from myself and other monk enthusiasts.
Yes.
This is fun.
This is awesome.
This is fun.
This is silly, and I love it. It's so, again, it's batshit insane. And I do like the fact that the stuff from the other episode or suggestions are added to this. You crazy son of a bitch. You're awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Now we got a couple more.
Yes. Who's next on this list? Should we go with David's or Alan's favorite? Or not favorite, but choice.
We can do mine.
All right.
Sounds good.
Mine was titled after the episode. It's simply titled $240 worth of pudding.
And who's it by?
It is by Oxygen Thief.
Yeah.
Oxygen Thief.
Nicely done.
The mysterious Oxygen Thief returns again.
Should we go in the same order, or
Do you want to start us off this time?
Sure. My first paragraph is really short anyway. Miranda.
The second time Stephanie said my name brought me back to reality, particularly when she tapped me on the skull from atop her bed and the Smash Victory music played on her TV. This game's winner is...
My shoulders jumped, and I dropped the Switch controller to reach up and hit her back on the knee, shaking my head as she rolled around in laughter.
You spaced out, girl, Stephanie chuckled. What are you even thinking about?
Rolling my eyes, I got a little snarky just as the next match started and I was already losing. Sorry, it's just that story about your 5th ex this year was so interesting that I mentally teleported to another dimension.
Oh, Christ. Anyway, Stephanie continued. Want to know what I saw at the grocery store yesterday?
Sighing internally, I had already had an inkling of what Stephanie might say. What?
Mr. Richardson buying a shit ton of pudding. I was actually there to see it this year.
The Pikachu lost another stock from the rushdown of Stephanie's Bayonetta, and I tried to hide the frustration in my voice. Oh, lucky you, I said slowly.
Stephanie laughed, but finally shut up and said nothing for a while, just playing until I had a headache from the game, and she decided to grace me with her words once more.
Hey, Stephanie proposed. Would you see what he does with all that pudding for $20? Well, it actually just says $20. I just wanted to say bucks for... Mm-hmm.
The headache I already had from playing suddenly got worse. What? I groaned. Fucking no. I knew his son, Stephanie. Come on.
Her eyes widened. She fumbled over her words and fiddled with the buttons on her controller. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It was just a long time ago.
Don't worry about it, I mumbled, though I couldn't mask my irritation. I really wanted some ibuprofen for my damn headache. You know that sense of humor is going to get your ass kicked one day, right?
I forgot, okay? She defended, her tone snappy. I'm sorry, Miranda. Let's just play.
We played Smeash super aggressively without saying anything more. Stephanie was my best friend, due to and in spite of the fact that she could say out loud what I was thinking, whether I liked it or not.
All right, let me get a page break. Dun, 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 dun. I like...
It's an interesting...
Is there any other way to play Smash except super aggressively? I feel like that's how most people play Smash.
Smash!
True.
Smash.
Smeash.
Smash.
Still in Smeash. Yeah, I'm gonna argue with my little brother and I'm gonna sell and Smash.
I'm gonna take my Captain Falcon and just smash.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna play as Kirby and Smash.
Yes. Smash.
Smash.
I lost Mewtwo, and you're just not that great in here. Because you grab the ground, you just smash.
I don't want to do my chores, and you do my chores. I have to play, little Mac and go through that dashboard. You just smash.
I am delighted by annoyed siblings.
Oh my god.
Smash Bros.
What just happened? I smell toast.
I'll tell you, super aggressive Smash siblings are my new favorite UCA characters. Hey kid, why do you next paragraph? You don't yes, and the smash ball, you smash.
This is like on the verge of like Beavis and Butthead. But like more aggressive.
It has to be aggressive. Passive aggressive is not an option in Smash Brothers.
Boy, play with items on you. Turn on the smash ball. The baseball bat. Play Fox and just stock. Smash.
There are more kids who get hit by cars on Halloween than any other day of the year.
Real kids get hit by cars and get smashed.
Asher and I were close before the accident.
We win. Fucking win.
I fucking hate you.
I think we all need a moment.
I got one more. Let me get it on my screen. Here we go. Ready? No. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Hang on. We all had a good laugh. It's understandable, but I think it's important to understand, Kaela. I think it's important to understand that real men use items. Yes.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I am so high.
Fuck me. Can I even read this? Jesus.
Yeah, I think you can. I'm so sorry.
I had to take my glasses off.
I'm gonna exit the premises for a bit.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, I do that. I need to check something anyway. I'll be right back.
Asher and I were close before the accident. A couple of clowns. I can't even talk. Jesus Christ. A couple of class clowns who got away with everything because his dad was our 4th grade teacher, Don Richardson. It made the other kids so pissed. I'm sorry I'm butchering your story.
Oh, man.
The cart full of pudding things started every year the night before Halloween, or a handful of months after Asher's mom left. I don't know why people gave him so much shit for it, saying how pitiful and weird it was that the tragedy led to a man going crazy. Some people just don't understand empathy, I guess.
I saw several buckets of the pudding from where I crouched in the bushes on the outskirts of Don's backyard. There was a little trail I made for every year I came. I didn't know if he had never caught me, or if he simply didn't care.
Beside the buckets was a kiddie pool, which had a ring of candles perfectly trapping in what looked like a hexagon. It was hard to tell in the dark of the night since Don only had his porch light on, but I had visited the past 6 years and the layout never seemed to change.
My black jacket kept me hidden, and my black jacket kept me hidden and warm, although nerves still racked my body. As I heard children screaming in delight while trick-or-treating far off in my neighborhood, Don quietly lit the candles. He stood over the pool and started filling it with buckets of pudding. All the wet, sloppy sounds making me a little queasy. Despite having seen it happen 6 times, that always got under my skin.
Once all that mess was done, the man knelt down and took a piece of loose, faded fabric off the ground. The kid's red Power Ranger costume.
I was the pink Power Ranger that night. Asher and I would strike poses on people's doorsteps when they gave us candy.
Don placed the costume on the pudding pile before getting on his knees, hands hovering over the pool, and began singing that song. I've never attempted to make out the words for fear of causing something terrible to happen, but I closed my eyes and enjoyed the low bass of his voice. I embraced the light show behind my eyelids that ebbed and flowed with the melody. Even as the area heated up to the point of physical discomfort, I felt the tenacity, the will, the force against nature to take life from the air itself. It pulled on me, if that made sense.
My eyes snapped open to see the candles had cleared up to cast a strong orange glow over the whole thing. Several puddles started moving of their own volition as if bubbling in the kiddie pool and filling the costume as the heat and song brought it to life.
Eventually, Asher barely managed to sit himself up, to which John finished singing and stared at the creature in amazement. Everything stopped for what felt like an eternity.
The head moved around aimlessly, most likely blind, but he said in a wet gurgle, "Dad."
Jeez.
It got Don every time. It got me every time. My chest and throat tightened at the sound of a dead friend's voice, an experience in my life that will never go beyond that yearly ritual. Don took Asher's hands into his own, as gently as he could, his body shaking with sobs and unmatched emotion.
"Hey, buddy," Dawn choked.
Oh, no, wait, it's my turn.
Sorry.
"Hey, buddy," Dawn choked. "How are you feeling?"
"Mwah, mew," Asher replied. His head didn't even focus on his father. "Legs?" "Legs for days."
He said the same thing every year. Don only cried some more and took the risk of pulling Asher into a light hug. "I'm so sorry, son," he said. "Mommy's not here, but she loves you. I promise. Do you want to go trick-or-treating?"
A spasm went through Asher's costume at that question. "Candy. Run."
The candlelight began fading, almost halfway to its original size. Desperate and panicking, Dawn's face and eyes twitched, trying to find anything else to say. "I love you, son. You know that, right? I love you so much, and I miss you every single day."
Asher was quiet for a long time, but he cooed even in his dismay. "Love you, Dad."
The candles had regressed to their normal, humble glow, and the air had chilled back to the crisp October chill. As Asher fell back into the abyss of death, the puddles seeped back into the kiddie pool. I forced myself to sit there and wait until Dawn cleaned up and went back inside.
I waited an entire hour and some change. After Dawn used a hose to clean out the kiddie pool and threw all the candles in the trash, I waited a little longer in the bushes until he entered the house, just in case.
Once the coast was clear, I turned and booked it down the hill to a street that would lead me home, crouching from behind some rocks so I could check to make sure no one else was around. My mother tried speaking to me when I came through the front door, but I walked right past her to immediately find the comfort of my bed, knowing she wouldn't come after me. On Halloween, she always gave me space.
It made me sick to see a man be that desperate, but I had to be there ever since my curiosity cursed me on the first anniversary of the accident. The night played like a video on repeat in my head. Power Ranger quotes, comparing candy loots, daring each other to touch the scary decorations, which made our parents' butt in to stop. My nails dug into my skin, thinking of how I never heard a grown man cry like that before or since, and how I would have died if we ran across the street just a second too late. This one is sad, but also really dark and creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good mixture.
Oxygen Thief is good at this.
Yeah.
This is something we've observed before.
I got a little choked up reading it again. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I think it's interesting because like there's a fair amount you could read into that too. But this one's got kind of like with Bumble Buddies. This one's got melancholy all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Different kind, but
a different kind of melancholy, absolutely. But
yeah,
I think Bumble Buddies was like pure melancholy, where this is more sad with that horror, like that kind of creepy feel. Where Bumble Buddies, it was never creepy. It was.
I'm kind of surprised that this dumb concept we came up with for the pudding ritual actually was written and taken into a direction like this. You know,
mm-hmm.
That's kind of the direction we started to take it when we were coming up with the idea.
It's true. I remember that, but it, at a certain point, it's been so long since we've done that. The main thing I remember was the absurdity of the ritual, but yeah, it did start to go there. And once you take that part away, it's like you can do something with $240 worth of pudding that actually does have some resonance. So I appreciate this one. And I appreciate Oxygen Thief for sharing it. All right, are we on to mine?
We're on to yours.
All right. So my honorable mention is by Daniel Scammell, aka Urkelbot 666, another veteran of these challenges and of UCA entries in general. And this one is called Puddin' on the Ritz, which I do not think Ritz crackers factor into this at all, but I get the pun. All right, take us home, Kaela.
Tracy was a daddy's girl in every way, but she had mom's wavy blonde hair and mom's love of canned pudding. Dad and I could never stand the stuff, but Tracy and Mom would sit on the kitchen counters every day, spoon in hand, eating right out of the huge tin of Lucky Leaf vanilla pudding. It was gross. Now all that tin pudding just sits on the shelf next to the basement stairs. Dad donates a few cans to the food drive every year, I think. We'll never eat it, but we haven't been able to throw it away. It's kind of dumb, I know.
There's a photo of Tracy pinned to the basement door. She's in her Halloween princess costume, smiling, holding a spoon. Mom and Dad called her Princess Pudding. 2 hours after the photo was taken, Princess Pudding was dead, crushed into her Jeep in the driveway. Mom had a few tequilas. Halloween cocktails, she called them, and was only backing the Jeep up a few feet to get something out of the garage. Tracy was playing where she shouldn't have been. It really wasn't anyone's fault. Just bad luck, I guess.
Mom took it really hard. She moved away to do some kind of mission work in Asia. We haven't heard from her since. I don't have a phone number for her. I can't even find her on an internet search. She disappeared. I can't blame her. Dad says he knows where she is, but I'm not sure if he really does.
Dad's usually okay, but every Halloween he locks himself in the basement. He has his own Halloween cocktails down there, and I just let him. It's the only time he ever drinks. He kept Tracy's princess dress, black streak and brown smears across it, and he takes it down there with him. He drinks tequila, listens to the Halloween playlist Tracy made that year, eats old candy. We haven't handed any out since Tracy died, and of course we can't throw it away. The candy is 6 years old by now.
I appreciate the time frame established by the candy, actually, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I jimmied the basement door open with a butter knife the morning of after Halloween. Dad was passed out, and I needed the car keys. There was pudding dumped into a pile on the floor and smeared around. Dad was hugging the stained princess dress, and he was covered with vanilla pudding. I wanted to be scared or embarrassed, but I just felt sad. I had no clue what he was doing in his blackout, but he was obviously sick with grief. I never asked about it. I thought he deserved to have this one thing, as crazy as it was.
I took his keys and left him. There was a strand of long, wavy blonde hair stuck in the key ring. It's crazy how that stuff will hang around for years. A hair, a speck of glitter, a toenail clipping, stains of the past. When I got back from school, he had cleaned up and he seemed happy. Hungover, sure, but happy. I was glad. We never talked about the greasy spots on the basement floor. We didn't talk about any of it.
Last night was Halloween again. I saw this little girl trick-or-treating. She looked just like Tracy. It set something off in me. I just need to talk to someone, but it's only me and Dad. We never spoke much about what happened, and usually I'm okay. But sometimes it just hits me and I start spiraling. I wish Mom was around.
Princess Pudding stared at me as I butter knifed the basement door open. Dad? I called. He was playing Tracy's playlist on his phone. I could hear the tinny sounds of Purple People Eater. I called again, but got no response. I didn't want to go down to see him. I didn't want to know what he did down there or engage with his pain. I needed him to come up to me, to help me with mine.
God, that is what a great sentence. That's,
yeah.
Purple People Eater stopped, and before the theme from the Twilight Zone started, I heard him talking. All I've got left is Necco wafers, circus peanuts, and dots. They're gross, but work it. The next song started, and I couldn't make out it. The smell of sour vanilla hung heavily. I sat on the stairs. It felt somehow safe there, between the real world above and this outer reach, isolated but not alone. I let myself cry a little as the Twilight Zone played. I wanted to call out again, but my throat was tight, and I didn't want to abandon my safe spot.
God, this is so tragic. Brush out the tangles, he slurred after the song ended. Hold still. Here, have a dot. The red ones are okay, he belched. Excuse me. I couldn't place what I heard next. Squelching, gurgling noises. Maybe Dad's burp brought a little tequila with it. The Monster Mash started, and as it played, I could hear Dad laughing quietly, his feet shuffling over the floor. I was afraid he'd come over to the stairs and see me, but I knew better. He never came up from the basement on Halloween until much later, if he didn't pass out.
The song played, and I remember all four of us stomping around the living room years ago, laughing, doing the Monster Mash. After the song ended, I heard more gurgling, suckling noises. Okay, you win. No more dancing, Dad laughed loudly and sat hard on the concrete. He'd be sore in the morning. What do you want to do now? Want some more candy?
There was a long, sputtering, lowing noise. It came as if it was responding to him. Aw, no more candy either? Dad asked. You're a spoil sport this year. The noise came again. Stop.
Yeah.
Good mix of horror and tragedy.
It sounded like words, like Dad was talking to someone. Maybe he had some other drinking buddy down there? He was always alone before.
Stop what, Princess? Dad asked. I heard his bottle clink to the floor. On the floor. You love Halloween. We love Halloween.
Princess? There wasn't anyone down there. My dad was alone, talking to himself. I regretted opening the door. This was worse than I thought. I expected that he'd probably talk to her. I did sometimes too. But to speak out her responses like that, it felt so sad. It felt shamefully sad, and I felt ashamed for knowing about it. I stood up on the stair. I stood up and the stair riser creaked sharply. Dad stopped talking and I stood still. After a moment, he seemed to forget the noise.
Want to play a game then? He asked. Then the other voice came.
Oh, God. Stop, Dad. Please stop. And...
Stop? But we're having fun. We're always have fun. I love you, Tracy. Princess, I'm the only one who loves you. Your brother's moving on and your mom is gone. She left. She's gone. I'm the only one left who loves you this way.
Jeez.
There was silence and I heard him start crying. The sound was like a cold steel chain snaking into my guts. It was agony. I heard shuffling sounds, then more sobs, then eventually snores.
My legs were sore and my face ached.
Knees weak, arms heavy.
I stepped down the stairs. I had to know at this point. I didn't think I could hurt any more than this. I just had to know what happened down here every year. Maybe I could help Dad heal. Maybe we could help each other. At the bottom of the steps, I turned and saw Dad, lying in a heap on the floor, mouth gaping, loud snores erupting intermittently. And in front of him, I saw it.
Tracy's dress was mashed over a slopping pillar of vanilla pudding. Candy was stuffed into the pudding at the neckline of the dress. I stepped closer. The pile must have been 3 feet high. As I watched it, it sputtered audibly, settling and oozing wider, covering the grease stains from the previous years. Oh, Dad, I said, and I squatted and put a hand on his shoulder. Looking at the mound, the thought struck me. That mush pudding would have only lasted a week with Mom and Tracy around. I couldn't help smiling.
I approached the dress, unsure whether I ought to clean it up or leave it for Dad. There was a wig that had fallen behind the mound. Long, wavy blonde hair. Something to complete the look. I reached down to pick it up. I wanted to put it back on her head, I guess. It looked like a high-quality prop, ending in a kind of shaped cap rather than nylon netting like the cheap costume wig. It felt silky and thick like real hair that had been washed and conditioned. Other than the ragged, crusty edges of the cap, it was perfect. It looked just like real hair, just like Mom's hair. Ooh, that's good. Ooh,
that's a good fridge tour there.
Ooh. I think we know where Mom is.
Mm-hmm.
I think we know where Mom actually is. Ooh.
Dad totally doesn't forgive her.
Nope. No forgiveness. None.
I think
that was the clincher for me because I was really digging it. And then it got to that part and I remember that whole bit about Mom being AWOL and only Dad knowing where she went. I'm like, it's implied. It's pretty heavily implied what actually happened. And I love that. So
it didn't click when I first read it because as I was going through it, I think I read this one was not long, was only like a 1 or 2 after I read the $240 worth of pudding. So I was just like, they sound too similar. And then David, you pointed that out. I'm like, well, what about the fridge horror? I'm like, what fridge horror? And then you pointed that out. I'm like, oh my God.
Y'all are good at making this one sad. Yeah.
Well, it's okay. The other one was a little more sad and tragic and like heart-wrenching. This one is more creepy. Like this actually.
I picked $240 just as I think the sad hits a little harder on that one.
Yeah.
Same.
This one has like a cloying desperation to it though, which I think this does make the creepy factor of like the dad is pathetic in this one, you know? So it's, the tragedy comes from the fact that he keeps pulling the soul of Tracy back.
And she doesn't like it.
She doesn't want to be there. What I love is that these could both be set in the same universe, just with different circumstances. Kind of like I mentioned with the Sweet Eddie stories. Well, we did it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure did.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for sending us all this pudding and this and also this monk recipe.
I want to go back to monk.
But yeah, with that out of the way, Alan, since you were the host, and I will fully and completely stand on that with my now functional legs. What did you think of our first ever creepy cooking staff writing challenge in the end?
I was very happy with how this writing challenge turned out. I think let's give it some time to accumulate a few more of our own, and maybe we'll do something like this again.
Yeah. I think you need to get a couple more like creepy cooking staff prompts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
we'll get there.
Yeah.
There's so many more we haven't touched on yet.
I think, in all honesty, out of all the writing competitions that I had to judge for, this was the hardest.
This was absolutely the hardest one.
You all were so good, and we kept I kept going back and forth,
I was going back and forth on this episode.
You mean between which one you'd pick for the honorable? For your honorable?
While we were reading just now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found myself going this one is also really good. I stand by my choice, but man.
No, I'm the same way. I'm like, but that's really good too.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's really good too. And even now looking back, there's a couple the ones that we didn't use for the honorable mentions. I'm like, yeah, but those were good too. Yeah, it's hard. I think again, I am in awe of you guys' writing talents, and I cannot wait to see more. Like I said, I think I did hint in the last episode that I have an idea for a writing challenge coming up, and I probably will introduce that probably in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Just but I have an idea brewing, and I think it's going to be a little more, because one of the things I wanted to do is make it a little more attainable, a more attainable story, basically something anyone could do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to look up some there's always going to be research when you're writing a story, but
of course
it doesn't have to be I have to look up Disney, I have to figure how to write badly, or I have to
But
listen.
I think the most important part of the next writing challenge is just the one side rule that every story has to include a really cool character named Alan who everyone likes.
No, please.
Actually, I think this is a great idea.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, if you're coming to this show for the first time, thank you for joining us. And please go back, check out our...
I'm sorry. It's like, if you're listening to this show for the first time, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But, everyone's...
This was probably all very confusing.
I'm sure. Hey, but if you're listening, you want to submit a story for us to read, you can email it to us at midnightmarinara @gmail.com is our home for that. We will add them to the queue and read them over, when we get a chance. If you are supporting us on Patreon, the Midnight Marinara and UCA Patreon, you get priority on the reading of the story along with the choice drags and other sample stuff and access to our Discord. So if you want to support the show that way, come and check it out. Any dollar level is good in that respect. But we will happily take anything that you have written and put it through our usual silly scrutiny and see what we can do with it. There will be more writing challenges in the future, as Kaela just elaborated on. And hey, while you're here, check out the other shows on the Creative Horror Network. Shows like The Witching Hour and Trick or Track and Midnight Marinara and Darkly Lit and a lot of other stuff, except not a lot of other stuff. That's pretty much all of them right now, but there will be more.
Yeah,
and if you have any issues with anything we did here on the show, then why don't you pick a character and Pokeball? Final destination, smash!
Oh God!
Yeah, that would hurt.
A lot of pudding came out of your mouth when you did that.
Yeah. I just coughed up a whole hell of a lot of pudding.
That is it supposed to be forming into a small creature?
Wait. Did you just spill Sunny D on it? Oh no!
Oh, no! Shit! Fuck!
What's gonna happen?
I don't know.
Good evening, intrepid listeners. This is the Pasta Shade, the host of Midnight Marinara, and this podcast is part of CreativeHorror.com, a network of podcasts and creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. For more content like this, visit us at CreativeHorror.com.